Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
He needs care and treatment.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Is this a great country or what?
Locking down the middle of the day, live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in! Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Monday. Hope the work week's off to a good start for you. We're brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. Got Jordan Kitchens and Braxton Rizzuto back there on the ones and twos, and lots to do to recap a weekend in sports. LSU got another football commitment we will discuss. Sam Burns was in the mix yesterday in the United States Open. Shreveport boy, LSU Tiger, just came up one shot short of Wyndham Clark. I want to discuss a little bit of that. I want to reset LSU's basketball roster because the college basketball world was shaking a little bit today with Dusty May's departure from Michigan to the Mavericks. That could have set forth some dominoes that would have put the transfer portal in motion again, but it did not because Michigan's going to promote from within. But it's just something that we haven't done in the last couple of weeks, and I think now's a decent time to do it. So we'll look into LSU's basketball roster a little bit later. It's a big day in LSU baseball history that we may discuss. The College World Series will be finalized. We'll have a new champion tonight. We'll preview that one in hour number 2, Saints position battle. So you get the picture. There's a lot to get to. Let's crank it up with our opening drive.
Welcome to the big league.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive, presented by Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville.
It has been an incredibly busy month for LSU in recruiting. The Tigers landed another commitment yesterday on Father's Day, Gary Burney Jr., the 11th commitment for LSU this month. Now, June is 22 days old at this point, but 11 commitments LSU has reeled in. They've gotten 10 in the class of 2027 in this month. It started back on the 3rd with Ahmad Hudson's, in the 7th with KJ Green's commitment. Ahmad Hudson committed in May. KJ Green committed back on the 7th. You've gotten Brennan Lacey, the running back from Frisco, Texas. Marcus Davis, the cornerback from Opelousas, jumped in the boat on that same day. Cade Cooper, a wide receiver from up in Pennsylvania, committed. Then a week later, Amaziah Siale committed. He is a big 6'6" offensive lineman from Hawaii. He jumped in on the 15th. Added Terrence Smith, another big physical offensive lineman at 6'7" and 290. Trey Segura added to LSU's running back crop on the 16th. Then a day later, Trey Martin, another running back, jumped in for LSU to make it 3 in this class. That same day, Chris Whitehead and his younger brother committed. And then you had Gary Burney, who committed back on Sunday. You know, Burney is one of those classic Louisiana 3-stars that a school outside the state or at a lower level feels like they've gotten a real gem. And then LSU takes a look and goes, I'll take that. And then LSU ends up winning out. Houston got his commitment, and Houston's thinking, okay, we've gone into Northern Louisiana, went to Bossier Parkway High School, where LSU has recruited players like Terrace Marshall, like Brandon Harris. That's where Gary Burney plays, and Texas and Houston had picked up his commitment. He's a 6'3" rangy wide receiver, and LSU brought him into camp and wanted to take a look, and they liked what they saw, and they get him in the boat. And this is a kid who has dreamed of playing for LSU. Once that offer came, you had the feeling like that was going to be a pretty quick flip, and there it was. He made that happen on Sunday. Again, I'm not here to be Joe Evaluator here. That's not what anybody is tuning in for. I'll let the folks at the recruiting websites and, more importantly, the LSU coaches handle that. My deal that I like to analyze is, like, how are you putting classes together? What are you prioritizing? And for LSU, I think it was obviously very, very vital in this class to make sure that you nabbed one of the best quarterbacks in the country, and they did that with the first commitment of this class in Peyton Houston. He committed to him back in September, and that was important. You had Colton Nussmeier, who's since committed to Georgia. You had Elijah Haven, who has since committed to Alabama, and you had Peyton Houston. All three of those guys, you felt like you had a reasonable chance to go recruit because of the ties with, obviously, you have Haven here in the city. Colton Nussmeier's older brother was the starting quarterback here, and then Peyton Houston's Louisiana kid, and LSU made that happen. I thought it was important for LSU to get high school running backs in this class, even though you do have depth at that position. You went and got 4 transfers, and you kept 2. You do have depth at that position. I just thought continuing that pipeline was important, and LSU did it. You always, always, always want to get linemen in your recruiting classes because those are the guys that you're going to have to get into your program and develop. Now, the tricky part about linemen is that they don't help right away. So I was always going to be curious to see how Lane Kiffin wanted to navigate that. And you've seen LSU go after some very high-profile defensive linemen and land them. And you've seen LSU go after some potential projects on the offensive line. I mentioned Ciale earlier. That's a guy that's is 6'6", 365 pounds, comes from Hawaii. Was a guy that Cal had committed, and LSU kind of liked what they saw, and I doubt had to overpay significantly for him. He's a 3-star. I mean, you look at what they've got him ranked at on Rivals. He's the number 605 player in the nation. Like, this is not a blue chip prospect, but somebody that LSU liked. They liked the projection on him, so they go ahead and bring him in. And you're still in this class. You continue to fill things out, searching for some more 5-stars. There are some in-state, like Albert Simeon is a guy from in-state that LSU is obviously very much recruiting. You're trying to make a splash with Easton Royal, who did make his trip, we understand, to Austin over the weekend. So it's there's still a lot to be done in this signing class, but there's been a lot of action over the course of the last 3 weeks. This is a fascinating portion of LSU's program under Lane Kiffin to me, because we talked about this last week. Lane Kiffin signed 1 5-star at Ole Miss in his 6 years there recruiting full classes. 1. And LSU, you can do more of that, but it's expensive. And sometimes they don't help right away. So do you want to prioritize that? And we felt like this was going to be the biggest differentiator between Ole Miss and LSU, and why Lane Kiffin would take the job is better access to elite high school players. He didn't have that, or didn't capitalize on that, at Ole Miss. And coaches at LSU, whether they've had success or not, have done that at LSU. Brian Kelly got high-profile high school players to LSU. Ed Ogeron got high-profile players from high school to LSU. So did Les Miles, so did Nick Saban. But you got to prioritize it, because it's not just about, oh, we got a big stadium that seats a lot of people, and oh, we're the home state school, and oh, we've got Heisman trophies and national championships. Now you've got to commit finances to it. And that's something we know LSU is going to do in the transfer portal. How ambitious are they going to be to do it in the high school ranks? And we're seeing that they will. Like, they've gotten 4 different 5-star prospects committed to this class. So they are prioritizing, to an extent, high school recruiting. And I anticipated that, but you understand Lane Kiffin has talked about getting his money on the field. You don't want to pay someone to develop them for somebody else. You go get a high 5-star prospect, he comes in, you pay a pretty penny for him, he takes a year to develop, he jumps in the portal. Now he's playing for Auburn, he's playing for Texas, and you paid for him and developed him for them. So you don't want to do that. So it's just a different world than it was previously. And I'm fascinated by how Lane Kiffin chooses to navigate it. And in looking at this, he is going after big fish. Chris Whitehead is a 5-star in the 24/7 Sports Composite. That's a big fish. Terrence Smith on the offensive line is a top 10 player on the interior offensive line, according to Rivals. Cade Cooper is a really high-profile player from far away, Pennsylvania. It's a guy that potentially could have gone to Penn State. You pulled him into LSU. That's not going to be cheap. KJ Green, big-time edge rusher, rated a 5-star. You're going to have to pay for that. Ahmad Hudson. I mean, that's a guy you know LSU's going to go after based on his skill set and where he's from, but they did. Peyton Houston's not going to be cheap. But they are sinking resources into high school recruiting, and they don't plan to take 40 kids out of the portal every single year. They had to this time around. You have a coaching change, your roster gets gutted, you got to go restock the shelves. And LSU did that in a big way. And they spent a lot of money on it. But you don't want to have to do that every single year. This is a message that Brian Kelly delivered and that Lane Kiffin has stuck to as well. And so you don't know how many of these guys are going to pan out and play their entirety of their career at LSU, but it's good to get those guys in. I will stand by this until I'm forced to change my mind, which I don't think is going to happen. You want the Trey'Dez Greens, the Whit Weeks, the Will Campbells, the Emory Jones, the Malik Neighbors. You want those guys that stay 3 and 4 years in your program. You want Jordan Seaton too. You want Sam Levitt too. You want Ty Benefield too. You want Mansour Delane too. But those guys that help you for 3 years, those are foundational pieces to your program. And a lot of times those are going to come from the high school ranks. Now, they did a good job in the portal this year of getting guys with multiple years of eligibility. They appeared to skew that way in a lot of cases. But the high school guys have the longest runway. You can get them in, develop them, get them to the field, and keep them there. It's very, very good. LSU's class has moved up considerably over the course of the last 3 weeks. They're now 10th ranked in the country. That average class score on Rivals is 90.84. It's a little bit better than last year's class, which was a smaller one under Lane Kiffin. But a top 10 class right now, and there's still some really big fish that are in Louisiana that you've got a chance to reel in. And this could be a top 5 class in the country. And I can tell you that Lane Kiffin never signed a top 5 class at Ole Miss. Be a good thing. We're off and running here on a Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. They're online at guaranteehealth.com, guaranteehealth.com. Crazy day yesterday at Shinnecock Hills, and there was a local angle to it. I'll talk about it next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
First American Bank and Trust. First American Bank and Trust, FABT.com, FABT.com. They've been growing for 116 years. That's a long time. And that's how they get to 25 locations. 25 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana. And the most important thing I drive home to you about First American Bank and Trust every single day is that when they make a decision on your commercial loan for your business, when they make a decision on your personal loan for potentially your home, that decision is being made locally by a person with roots in Southeast Louisiana. When you bank with First American Bank and Trust and you pick up the phone and make that phone call, you're not getting somebody in Chicago. You're not getting someone in Atlanta. You're getting someone in Southeast Louisiana. So whether you're up I-12 in St. Tammany or Tangipahoa, whether you're down the bayou in St. John or Lafourche Parish, right outside Baton Rouge, maybe you're in Metairie, there's a First American Bank and Trust branch near you. 25 of them throughout Southeast Louisiana. Bank local with the friends at First American Bank and Trust.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google. Based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we know this and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
Bayou Ford is taking $12,000 off MSRP on the new 2026 Ford F-150 trucks, plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Box combo for George. I see you, Luis. Food's on the way.
Please don't. Hey, you know you can use your hands, right?
Got those box combos for you. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
The experts at Hood Dental Care want you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays. A $376 value. With over 3,000 5-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care. Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And we always have other great giveaways for new patients. Check out hooddentalcare.com and schedule your appointment today.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
I've been in banking for over 35 years.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. Guarantee Health Solutions, guiding healthcare forward. GuaranteeHealth.com.
Remind you about my friends at the Highland Insurance Group. HighlandIG.com is the website. The Highland Insurance Group, you know that it is storm season. You want to make sure that your insurance program is ready to respond if necessary. Do you have the right business interruption insurance? That's just a vital line of coverage when there's a significant weather impact like a hurricane, because if you can't work, your expenses probably continue. That's what business interruption is there for. Do you continue your revenues that are lost because you can't work? I've seen this line of coverage change businesses, keep them afloat when bad things happen, like hurricanes. Do you know what your business interruption limit is if you are a business owner? Probably should. The Howard Insurance Group can make sure it is properly taken care of. That's where they're experts. They come in and make sure your coverages read properly. Those are complex documents, those insurance policies. A lot of folks just skim through them and see how quickly they can get to the premium. If that's the case, get a second set of eyes. Make sure this storm season that you're not scrambling after the storm rose through to make sure your policy is properly written. Do it now. Contact Jonathan Carbone's team at the Highland Insurance Group or online at HighlandIG.com. It's the Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com. All right, wild day yesterday at the United States Open with the local flavor. Sam Burns from Shreveport, Louisiana, former LSU Tiger, was right there in the mix, and it didn't appear that he was going to be when he teed off. You're talking about a 7-shot difference. And if Wyndham Clark doesn't completely come back to earth, then Sam Burns doesn't really have a chance, because there was no one was going to be able to go out there on U.S. Open Sunday and shoot a 64. Like, that's just not out there at Shinnecock with the wind blowing and the greens as firm as they were. So you were going to need Wyndham Clark to come back, and he did. He shot 73. And then Sam was going to have to go kind of nuts, and he did. He was 2 under through the 8th, put himself right there in position, continued to hit quality golf shots. And then he pours in that long birdie putt to make a push late. And then he needed one of the putts on 17 or 18 to go. He hit such a good shot in on 17. As he termed it, he had a bad read. The stroke looked terrible on the putt. It was just low all the way and didn't have a lot of pace behind it. But he made a really good stroke at it on 18 on a putt that I thought he absolutely had to have. And it just didn't go in. It was a really good roll. It was aggressive. It was online for a long way, and it burned the edge of the cup, and he didn't get it to go. And Wyndham Clark did kind of cough one up there on 17, but he hit that stellar lag putt on 18 to get it done. I think what yesterday did for me is it furthered my belief that Burns has the ability to win these majors. He went so long early in his career where he just was a non-factor in major championship golf. He had one top 10. He just was never around at all in majors. And now, when you look back, he's been right in the thick of the last 2 U.S. Opens that were very different tests. Last year, you had Oakmont, which is so long and the rough so tall, and it was wet, and it was a really difficult course because of the length and the length of the rough. This was different because it's not the longest golf course that they play, but it does have ridiculously difficult conditions because the wind always blows, and the greens are really firm as they firmed up over the course of the weekend. It was just a different test, and he was right there in the middle of it. He's shown up at PGAs. He's absolutely put himself in position, and I thought he played well enough to win the golf tournament yesterday. So I think more so than 4 years ago, I think now Sam Burns is ready to win a major, and that would be incredible. The only LSU Tiger to ever win a major, obviously, is David Toms, who won the PGA Championship over in Atlanta. Burns would become the second guy to do it, and I think he absolutely can. I'll tell you this, though, kind of independent of Burns. This is like what all the coverage centered around after the tournament was over yesterday. I was obviously pulling for Sam Burns. I am from Shreveport. I went to LSU. Sam Burns is from Shreveport. He went to LSU. That's the story I wanted. I wanted Burns to win. We went to the North Shore to my father-in-law's house yesterday, and my Father's Day gift, I was like, here's what I want. We can go to your dad's house. That's great. Can you drive home so I can watch the golf? And so I sat in the passenger seat of my car and watched the golf, and I'm fist pumping along with Burns when he pours in that birdie putt and he knocks it up there close on 17. Like, I wanted him to win. And even though I was pulling for Sam Burns to win, I was stunned at the behavior and reaction of the crowd for Wyndham Clark. Stunned. They openly hated him. Openly. And you just don't see that a lot in major championship golf. Like, absolutely, there are partisan crowds in the Ryder Cup and the President's Cup. Sometimes, if you've got a native son, if Rory is in Ireland, or if you've got someone who's in their hometown, like David Toms won the Compact Classic here in New Orleans, like sometimes there are partisan cheers. Mickelson was, a huge presence at like Augusta, and Tiger had the folks that pulled for him, but like in just a general stroke play major championship, pretty much everyone gets applause and cheers. And Wyndham Clark was like knocking wedges inside 5 feet, and people weren't cheering. He was making birdie putts. People weren't cheering. He was hitting shots, and when they trickled off the green, they were applauding. They were screaming, "Get in the bunker," when he hit shots. Like, I've not seen this almost ever. Like, Colin Montgomery got it pretty bad, but that was in a foreign country. Like, this is an American guy in America getting openly rooted against. It was like uncomfortable to watch. And you just never see that. And Wyndham Clark talked about it after. He's like, yeah, I mean, obviously they don't like me very much. And it's just odd because, yes, Wyndham Clark last year at the U.S. Open was in a bad spot with his golf game, played very poorly at Oakmont, and took it out on a locker. It's ridiculously pathetic behavior. He should be regretful. It's regrettable. He should regret it. He should feel bad about it. He should be embarrassed by it. It's utterly pathetic to take a golf club and bash out a locker at Oakmont. That's absolutely ridiculous behavior, and I would never excuse it. But he's not an axe murderer, okay? He liked some political tweets people didn't like, okay? He's said a few things on hot mics that people don't love, but like, this is not the worst guy ever. There are plenty of people in the game of golf that have done much worse things than Wyndham Clark has done. And he's the guy that's like the persona non grata. He's the villain. It was so odd to me. And I am fascinated at times by like sports fan behavior. Y'all have heard me talk. I don't understand home fans booing their team. That is weird to me. People will challenge me and say, you're soft. I paid my ticket for this. I can tell them whatever I want. And you're right. You can do whatever you want. I just don't get it. In my head, you would want to support your team as opposed to boo them. They know they're not playing well if they're not playing well. But that's the way that I see it. And for me, like, to openly root against a guy in stroke play is weird behavior at a golf tournament. And on Saturday, when he from 275 yards out hit a 3-wood to 4 or 5 feet and like no one cheered, that is weird. And then he pours in that birdie putt on 16 yesterday, and like that would have been just absolute mayhem if it was Rory McIlroy or Mickelson or Scheffler who was playing with him. And it was like you can see people in the background. Go back and, if you're a golf fan, go back and look at this. Watch when he makes that birdie putt right in the middle from, what was that, 25 feet? Look in the background as he pumps his fist. There are a lot of people, not like one guy, a lot of people that aren't even clapping. I cannot recall seeing that. And I was pulling against him. I wanted Burns to win. But that was like, I saw the Barstool Riggs from Barstool's got a podcast called Foreplay, and I saw a little clip from him yesterday. He said people were just being mean. And that sounds like you're analyzing a 5th grade playground and not the United States Open, but it kind of fits. Like, people were being mean. It was odd. I had to send a text message to my cousin. My cousin lives in Denver. He married a girl that was from Denver. She grew up with Wyndham Clark. So they're not like best buddies, but like she grew, and I was like, I texted my cousin. I was like, do people just not like this guy in Denver? Or like, where is this? I was unaware of this until Saturday of this week, that people just hate Wyndham Clark. And it turns out, like, no, people like him in Denver, but he does have a bit of a temper. He's got that reputation. And people just decided yesterday, like, I get it. I get that Scheffler was chasing the career Grand Slam. I get that people don't want a runaway winner. You want a competitive golf tournament, but you kind of got that. And you got a huge moment on 16, and there just was no reaction. I would not have been in that number if I was at the tournament. I mean, I yes, want Burns to win, but I certainly would have applauded and cheered for these moments. And it was, I felt bad for him. I felt bad for him. Maybe I'm soft. Maybe I'm pathetic. Maybe that's weak. Maybe I need to toughen up. Who knows? But I don't recall watching a golf tournament that featured someone on quote-unquote home soil that was being rooted against that openly by that many people. It was so odd. But the local angle to this is that Sam Burns, I think, is going to win a major championship. He's got everything you need in the bag to get that done. He finally played. He played well enough to win the golf tournament yesterday. A 67 in those conditions is remarkable. And listen to this. They've now played the U.S. Open at Shinnecock either 6 or 7 times, I forget. But you get the point. It's either 6 or 7. It's plenty of playings of the U.S. Open at Shinnecock. A total of 6 people have finished under par at Shinnecock for the U.S. Open. A total of 6. 3 of those were this year. Wyndham Clark, who won, Tom Kim, and Sam Burns. He's one of 6 people in the history of Shinnecock U.S. Opens to shoot under par. He went 71, 68, 71, 67. Joaquin Niemann shot 66 yesterday. That was the only round. And Ludwig Oberg were the rounds better than Sam Burns, and those guys were out of the tournament. Sam was right in the middle of it and raised his level to the level of a major championship. He caught that tough break out of the water when it all went awry, trying to win a U.S. Open previously. He didn't catch any terrible breaks this time around. Just couldn't get one of those last 2 putts to go in. And if one of those goes in, he's in a playoff, and I think he's got a great chance to win. I think that it was a real positive for Sam, and it'll be awesome when he finally does check off that major box. It just didn't come at Shinnecock over the weekend, but cool to see him in the mix and playing as well as he did. And I thought his post-round interview session was really good. I would suggest you go back and watch that if you haven't. He handled himself really well and feels like he's close. Just didn't quite get that one putt to drop. So let's look at the United States Open. Sam Burns, just 1 shot short of Wyndham Clark. All right, when we come back, I just want to do an exercise here. There was so much happening, and then there's so much controversy about LSU's basketball roster. At LouisianaSports.net today, I kind of sorted it out for you. If you're curious where things stand numbers-wise, positionally, and with the time frame, I'll clear some of that up when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
GoTro's Outdoor Power. GoTro's Outdoor Power. They're online at GoTrosOnline.com. 2 locations. One on Airline in Baton Rouge. One, of course, in Gonzales as well. Been open for 22 years. And they're doing it locally, right here. It's the GoTro family. Shop local for those zero-turn mowers. They've got incredible deals going on in the month of June, and you still got a week to get by. Their Raptor Series, $200 off. Their Fast Track Series, $500 off. Their commercial mowers, up to $1,500 off. Incredible stuff. Father's Day weekend was a big one for them over at GoTro's Outdoor Power. If you didn't get on by this week and get those great June savings on their line of hustlers. They're the National Hustler Deal of the Year 2 of the last 3 years. They got the biggest hustler inventory in the state, largest parts inventory in the state as well. Go by and see them on Airline or in Gonzales. It's GoTro's Outdoor Power.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new 2025 Ram 1500 truck with $18,000 off MSRP plus 3.9% financing for 60 months. $18,000 off plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I've been in banking for over 35 years. I usually start about 7:30 in the morning and I usually leave somewhere around 5, or if customers need me to meet them at their house or their business places, I don't mind going after hours. I have done churches, subdivisions, retail centers, hospitals, and nursing homes. And that's why we chose to live in this community, because of the values First American Bank has, that I can serve my community and my customers.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. Now the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. Guarantee Health Solutions, guiding healthcare forward. GuaranteeHealth.com.
Guarantee Health Solutions brings you our Monday shows. You can find them online at GuaranteeHealth.com, GuaranteeHealth.com. Rachel Fricke runs an awesome team over there. She went through the healthcare system alongside her mother after her mother was diagnosed with cancer. And Rachel's takeaway from it was just how impersonal it was, how uncomfortable it was, how unpleasant the healthcare system can be. And she set out to make a difference. And that's where Guarantee Health Solutions was born. Rachel's got a background in hotels and hospitality and wanted to bring that into the healthcare world. And she has. And they're fantastic at what they do. If you're in the healthcare space, whether you got a hospital, if you got an urgent care clinic or a dental practice or a private practice, no matter what it may be, how often do you assess your digital footprint? Do you look at your website and how many clicks to care? How often do you assess the patient journey once they walk in the door and how they're greeted and how that process works as they're in your facility? How often do you understand what that process to get them back in for those follow-up appointments? If that's not something generally that you take a look at and assess, that's where Guarantee Health Solutions can come in. They can help you build your website. They can help with your digital advertising. They can help you work with the real estate agent to find the proper location. All these types of things that are not about just treating the patient is where Guarantee Health Solutions can really make a difference. And they have made a difference for a lot of different partners over the year. They had a Net Promoter Score go up from 65 to 90 in 3 months working with Guarantee Health Solutions. Go check them out online, GuaranteeHealth.com, GuaranteeHealth.com. Guarantee Health Solutions, they're moving healthcare forward. All right, I wanted to just take a quick second this time of year when things are a little bit slower to just assess where LSU basketball is, because you had that like really fast run on some transfers and then the reports of the foreign players coming over, and everything just kind of cooled, and you're just not hearing anything about LSU basketball right now. And so just like for my own edification, I went back and I put the roster down on paper. And I was like, all right, what does this look like? And I wanted to do that kind of for you here as well. So you've got 11 guys, best I can tell, that have either committed, enrolled, or have been reported to be heading to LSU. That's 11 total. You go in the backcourt, Divine Ogachukwu, Austin Nunez, Mo Diabate, Abdi Bashir. Those are all transfers. You've got Saliu Niang from Italy. You've got Yam Madar from Israel, the 27-to-be-year-old. And RJ Lewis, who was in the G League but never played for the last 2 seasons. That's your backcourt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys. And in the front court, you've got Bryce Desert, who was playing in Turkey. You've got Marcio Santos, who was playing in Israel. You've got Michael Ruzic, who was playing in Spain. And you've got Jordan Bender, who they got out of high school last week. That's 4 guys. So you've got 7 in the front court, 7 in the back court, 4 in the front court. That's 11 players. And you understand that 9 of them, you feel very, very good about their eligibility. I'll go through those. The 4 transfers, Ogachukwu from Michigan State, Nunez from UTSA, Diabate from Kentucky, and Bashir from Kansas State. Obviously, those 4 guys, good to go. They're just standard transfers. I don't have any problem with Saliu Niang. He was drafted by Cleveland. He never signed a contract with Cleveland. He fits the mold of these professional guys that are coming over to play in college basketball. There are dozens and dozens and dozens of them, and I don't see any issue with his eligibility at all. Then you go to the front court. Same thing can be said for Bryce Desert, Marcio Santos, and Michael Ruzic. Michael Ruzic is 19 years old. He, to me, is completely without issue being eligible. Marcio Santos was being recruited by Kentucky. We know that. Bryce Desert was being recruited by Arizona. He was being recruited by North Carolina. So that's a guy that a lot of schools were after. I don't have any problems with that eligibility from that perspective. The 2 guys that you do have to worry about are Yam Madar. He's played a lot of professional basketball, like 7 years. He's pushing 27 years old. That's a guy that, based on his years of playing in professionally and the amount of money he's made, that's something that you may get some pushback on. Now, LSU is going to argue that his military service should be considered here, where he had a couple years of military service, and that he has not been signed for an NBA team. So, okay, maybe. And then you've got RJ Lewis, who has significant issues because he left his collegiate eligibility and has signed contracts with multiple NBA teams, though he has never played in a G League game or an NBA game. So let's just say that everybody's eligible. Well, then you've got 11 guys, and I don't even really care who your 12th guy is. Like, that doesn't really matter. I don't care who your 13th guy is. Will Wade said on John Rothstein's podcast, he said, look, we last year at NC State paid 13 guys. That was a mistake. It's nice to have 13 guys on the payroll for practice. By the time you get to ACC games in that case, you're playing 9 guys. You've got 4 guys you've invested in that aren't helping you. You need to take that money from those 4 guys and invest it in stars. So he only cares about 8 or 9 guys anyway. And if you got 11, that's perfectly fine. I don't care what your last 2 look like. If you lose Madar and you lose Lewis, now what does that look like? Well, you weaken yourself at point guard, and you probably have Divine Ogachukwu and Austin Nunez running the point for you. Transfer from Michigan State, transfer from UTSA. Both guys have been multiple-time transfers. They're old players. They're probably your point guard. And then you would have on the wing Abdi Bashir, who's a great shooter from Kansas State, Mo Diabate, who's a really good defender, and then Saliu Niang, who's a ridiculous athlete, great defender, and a slashing scorer who can play above the rim. You've got a lot of elements there. Madar would be the guy that makes this thing go. He's the most exciting playmaker that they've got potentially. He's just a bit of an issue with the eligibility because he's so old. And then in the front court, you're set. Like, you've got Bryce Desert and Marcio Santos. Both guys are over 6'10". Both guys are men. Both guys are big and physical. And so those are your 3 and your 4 and your 5. Ruzic is young, comparatively speaking, to this team, but he's played some professional basketball. He's very, very talented, very, very skilled, just kind of skinny. And then Bender is a project, who I think is probably your 11th man at this point. But you've got 3 guys in the front court that you trust, and you can get some big minutes out of Diabate. You can get some big minutes out of Niang. They're bigger, longer players. So it's a roster right now that is 9, 10, or 11 deep. 9 if you don't get your 2 guys eligible, 11 if you do. If you're only at 9, I don't know where LSU goes to fill the rest of this roster. I think Will Wade feels like that 9 can compete in the SEC. I sense that because of the lack of activity, that's where they're at. My guess is, and this is a guess, this is not reporting, that they have, quote-unquote, maxed out the credit card here. They have spent the money they're going to spend. There doesn't appear to be anybody out there that would be significant to add. I can't tell you I've combed through everyone in Europe, but if you look at the transfer portal, there's not a lot of really impact players there. There could have been, had Dusty May's departure forced Michigan into the hiring cycle. If they had gone and hired somebody else's coach, and then you would have had a coaching carousel that knocked off 4 different coaches and you got 4 different teams' players to jump in the transfer portal, you could have potentially, because if your coach leaves, you can get in the transfer portal, you could have potentially seen some movement there for LSU, but Michigan is going to promote from within, so that's not going to send a big shockwave through college basketball. So I just feel like this is the team that they're prepared to put on the floor. And they're hopeful that they get 11 guys eligible here, and then maybe you grab a couple walk-ons for 12 and 13, and you call it a day. But it's a lesser team if you lose Lewis and Madar. My analysis of Lewis and Madar is that they would average about 30 points a game for LSU. I think Lewis could be an 18-point-per-game kind of guy. He was the Big East Player of the Year at St. John's. I think he could be an 18-point scorer at LSU. And I think that Madar would be a 12.5 assist guy, too. Like, these are impact dudes. So you would have to replace those 30 points if they're not eligible, and I think you take a bit of a hit there because the guys, Ugachukwu and Nunez, to me, are depth pieces. If they become your focal points offensively, that's not nearly as good. But if you're LSU right now, this is kind of where you are. And I look at the calendar. There are 9 weeks until school starts. And Will Wade told John Rothstein, we're going to have a team ready by the time school starts. But you're not getting a lot of rumor. You're not getting a lot of noise. You're not getting a lot of reporting even from overseas because that stuff started to trickle out from the guys overseas before it got to us here in stateside. And it just doesn't feel like there's a lot of that going on right now. So I take the quietness from LSU as confidence. Maybe that's irrational, but it's kind of the way I sense it. And this team right now is good enough to compete in the SEC if it's all eligible. I just don't know when we're going to get that determination. And it feels like those dominoes are going to need to start falling because we know how long things can take in our legal system, in the court system. You got to bring that to the table. And I just don't know when that's going to happen for LSU. But that's a look at it. If you want to see it on paper, want to see it in front of you instead of just me blabbing about it, I wrote it at LouisianaSports.net. You can read it there for free on the front page. But I just listed out the roster and kind of gave my thoughts on where they are from a numbers perspective. Somewhere between 9 and 11 right now, and I think that's all Will Wade wants at the end of the day. If he can get to 11, if you get just 9, you're a little bit thin. Let's just call it what it is. You're a little bit thin. But we'll see. They've got 9 weeks to get it figured out before school starts. So that's a look at LSU basketball here in the month of June. When we come back, today's a big day in history for LSU baseball. I'll tell you what I mean next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Always love telling you about my friends over at Ochsner. They've got kind of a different theme every single month over there to keep you informed. And this month, they just want you to know that if you're an athlete or just trying to stay active, that Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute can help get you moving and keep you moving. You got access to the highest levels of specialized care, nationally renowned expertise, the latest equipment, modern facilities, and that includes that convenient walk-in orthopedic clinic at Elite Training Complex on Burbank. If you drive by it on Burbank, you'll see the football field right next to it with the goalpost. You can't miss it. But it's a walk-in clinic. So if you've got sprains, strains, minor dislocations, youth sports injuries, or you just get hurt there in the backyard, you can walk in without an appointment to Elite Training Complex and you can be seen. Ochsner Andrews Institute is there to help you move your healing forward and get you back to doing what you love, whether that's being in the gym, whether that's playing ancient athletes, whether that's high school sports, or just playing with the grandkids. That's what they can do for you at Ochsner. Find them online at ochsner.org/BRortho.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience, or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
At Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer, we know you deserve value when you purchase equipment. Right now, take advantage of the powerful 3025E tractor for just $297 a month, with 0% financing for 72 months. Tractor packages with a trailer also available. Whether you're tackling land, property, or projects, get your job done. Don't wait. This offer ends June 30th, 2026. Some restrictions apply. Visit sunequip.com or stop by a Sunshine location today.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinela.com and tell them Matt sent you.
Eagle 98.1, the rock station. Home of the Woody Show in the morning. Scotty Mack with Rock at Work. Michelle Southern with Southern Rock. Home of LSU sports since 1998. And rock for Baton Rouge since 1985. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. To join our VIP fan club, text ROCK to 225-499-9898. Eagle 98.1, the rock station.
As a business owner, you're always focused on how you can improve the bottom line. Well, when was the last time you shopped your insurance coverage? Insurance Network of Louisiana can help. If you're a business owner, let my friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana see if they can find you better coverage for less money. They always offer exceptional customer service and partner with only the best providers. So check them out online today at lainsurance.net.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. Guarantee Health Solutions, guiding healthcare forward. GuaranteeHealth.com.
Marucci always gives you an opportunity to work on your game. You got a youth athlete in your house, whether it's baseball or softball, and they want to get some work in all summer long. Become a member at Marucci. You get key card access to their hitter's house, which allows you 24/7 to go in there and take some swings, to go in there and work on some pitching. You can do it there in the hitter's house. I know this time of year it's 1,000 degrees during the day. Maybe you don't want to go take some swings outside. Rains just about every afternoon at like 3 o'clock. Maybe not an opportunity to go play. Or maybe it gets dark and you don't have anywhere to go. Well, Marucci takes care of all that. Doesn't matter how hot it is. Doesn't matter if it's raining or it's dark. You can go take some swings in the hitter's house. So become a member over there at Marucci. 24/7 access to the cages via your key card that comes with the membership. It's a great resource here in Baton Rouge for the youth baseball player or the youth softball player in your house. It's Marucci's Hitter's House. You can find them online at maruccisports.com. I did not realize this. Did not realize this until Twitter started talking to me today and tripped down old memory lane. June 22nd. You know where you were in 2023, June 22nd. You know where you were in 2025 on June 22nd. In 2023, one of the greatest games in the history of college baseball took place on June 22nd. That was LSU's 2-0 win over Wake Forest to get LSU into the national final. It was Rhett Lauder It was Paul Skeens. It was Trey Morgan's unbelievable defense on the squeeze bunt. It was a gutty effort by Thatcher Hurd. It was a huge swing of the bat by Tommy White, and it was heartbreak for a truly great Wake Forest team. Brett Lauder was exceptional for that team. Brock Wilken holds just about every record they've got at Wake Forest. That day, Nick Kurtz was scratched. He didn't play. He was scratched pregame, but as he turned into a stud of a big leaguer for the A's. He's awesome. He was on that team. Camden Manasseh, stellar bullpen arm. Massey, another great old bullpen. I mean, they were really, really good. And LSU played them straight up. Skeens carved them up. And finally, with Dylan Cruz on first base, Tommy White came up with the swing on the hanging breaking ball. I'll tell you all this. When I watched that home run that Tommy White hit, still to this day, 3 years later, to the day, it looks like he hit it off the end of the bat. I remember thinking that live when he hit it. But his reaction and Ravitch going, did he get it? Did he get it? As I was watching it from home, showed that he hit it right on the screws. It just looks like it was off the end of the bat. We watched Tommy White hit missiles for 2 years in Baton Rouge. And that one just didn't have the look to me. But he crushed it because that ball got way out of there. And it's an LSU to the national final where they would win national championship number 7, the first one under Jay Johnson. That was on June the 22nd. And then the other June the 22nd last year, Game 2 of the championship series. So it is currently 365 days from LSU's national championship win over Coastal Carolina. About that game, I think the thing that I'll remember most is it's twofold for me. It's the shot up the middle by Curiel that drove the runs in, and you felt like LSU had seized control of the game. And you felt like LSU had a good read on Morrison, who was a Sun Belt pitcher of the year. Because Coastal's only chance was to hold LSU's bats down. They weren't going to hit a lot against LSU. That was the best 1-2 punch Coastal would have seen all year. Anderson in Game 1, they couldn't touch him. Ianson in Game 2. I didn't feel like they were going to score a lot of runs. So when LSU punched and got that 2 spot on the board early, I just didn't feel like Coastal was going to be able to come back. And the second memory from that day is just how many strikes Chase Shores was throwing. Because I felt like, to that point, that Coastal was going to have a really hard time hitting Chase Shores if he didn't give him anything. And you knew that defense wasn't going to crack. They were going to play defense. And he didn't walk anybody. Chase Shores didn't walk anybody in Omaha. Amazing. For a guy that was throwing 101. And once he dialed it in from a command perspective and was throwing strikes, I was sitting in the press box, and I was just like, they're not going to hit this guy. And they didn't. They got the leadoff single in the ninth, but obviously we know it got erased 2 outs later with the ground ball to second base for the double play, and LSU wins the 8th national championship in program history. But I did not realize, I mean, you realize it's the same time every year, but I didn't realize the Tommy White walk-off and LSU's national championship from today came on the same day, which is June 22nd. I got a notification earlier this morning that my return flight from Omaha is still scheduled for tomorrow. I've since canceled it, but it is set for tomorrow. I booked that in January, and I will not be making it. I also remember last year, LSU wins in 2 games, obviously, and they finish it on Sunday. And so I stayed and did my show on Monday, and I booked a flight home for Tuesday in case LSU made it all the way through and played a Game 3 like they did in 2023. So I was still there Monday night after my show. Me and my dad went and played putt-putt at this indoor putt-putt bar and got some pizza. And I took a video outside of it raining. I was like, it would have been tough to play a game. And it was like 30 hours after LSU had won the national championship, and there were people that were texting me and tweeting at me like, you're still in Omaha? Go home. It's like, well, a lot of people were trying to go home on that day, so I stayed an extra day, was allotted in for the the Game 3 that never happened. But we'll have a Game 3 tonight in Omaha from Charles Schwab Field between Oklahoma and North Carolina, and I'm very, very excited for that. I did not watch a lot of the College World Series yesterday because I painted that picture for you. I was coming home from the North Shore, and I was watching golf on my phone. So I was monitoring the score, keeping up with people's analysis on Twitter, but I didn't watch a lot of the game. I'll be locked in tonight for 9 innings. I'm really excited about it. Kind of a stress-free watch. I would prefer North Carolina win, but I don't really care. I don't have a lot of hatred in my heart for Oklahoma. Skip Johnson's a heck of a coach, and I don't think that Oklahoma winning a national title is going to do anything to negatively impact LSU in any way. I couldn't have Ole Miss win, and I can't have Arkansas win, and can't have Texas A&M win, and I don't want to pull for Texas either. Didn't really pull for Georgia, really, but Oklahoma seems kind of harmless to me. So I don't care if they win. It'll be stress-free watch, and I think it's going to be a very fascinating ball game. So I'll break that down in hour number 2. But today, June 22nd, is the same day that Tommy White lifted LSU to the final in 2023, and that Anthony Ianson, Chase Shores, Derek Curiel, Stephen Milam and company lifted LSU to the 8th title in program history just 1 year ago today. So cool stuff for LSU in Omaha. A lot of days in late June have a lot of positive connotation for LSU baseball. It's just kind of the way it is around here. Our Monday show is brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. They're online at guaranteehealth.com, guaranteehealth.com. Missed any of the first hour? Talk to LSU basketball. Talk to LSU football recruiting. Talk a little LSU baseball as well. You can go catch that on demand. We also talk some U.S. Open with Sam Burns being in the mix. That's got an LSU flavor too. We got a lot to do in hour number 2 as well. We'll start with the Men's College World Series after national headlines and Sports Center. Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Lifetime Roofing, lifetimeroofingla.com, lifetimeroofingla.com. Now, Lifetime Roofing is the name of the company, but it's also a promise they make you. It's a lifetime workmanship warranty. That warranty covers the craftsmanship, obviously, but it also covers the materials, which are backed by CertainTeed, one of the oldest and most trusted names in building materials. So if you're looking for a local roofing company that's going to be here before the storm, be here after the storm, and offer you a lifetime workmanship warranty, Lifetime Roofing is the call you need to make. You can trust them. They're from Baton Rouge, got an amazing team here, awesome facility just off College Drive, and they're growing. If you're looking for an opportunity of employment, you want a place that offers benefits, Lifetime Roofing would be happy to help you. Maybe it's time to get that roof fortified. It's hurricane season. Make sure that tune-up happens for you. And if you need a new roof, trust the folks at Lifetime Roofing to get it done for you. It's Lifetime Roofing. You can check them out online at lifetimeroofingla.com. That's lifetimeroofingla.com, lifetimeroofingla.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new 2025 Ram 1500 truck with $18,000 off MSRP plus 3.9% financing for 60 months. $18,000 off plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
I'm Billy Schmidt, and I've been with First American Bank for 13 years. I have a passion of getting to know customers, getting to know their journeys, getting to know their stories, and being a small part of that, and just continuing that, and taking those relationships and expanding out into the community, just to make First American a household name. And people look at us and say, hey, what's special about you guys? You're part of a family.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The First time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6...
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Nick DeLuca. Dusty May heading to Dallas. Michigan head coach finalizing a deal to coach the Mavs after winning the national title with the Wolverines. May led Michigan to a 64-13 record over 2 seasons in Ann Arbor. Also led FAU to back-to-back NCAA tournaments, including the 2023 Final Four. May, the first college head coach to take an NBA job since former Michigan coach John Beilein went to Cleveland to join the Cavaliers in 2019. He's the first to leave college immediately after a national title since Kansas's Larry Brown in 1988. Michigan working toward hiring current assistant coach Mike Boynton Jr. as interim head coach, brings head coaching experience from Oklahoma State. Elsewhere, free agent Trae Young intending to sign a 4-year, $212 million deal to stay with the Wizards with a player option for year 4. Four-time NBA All-Star declined his $49 million player option back on Monday. Played in just 5 games for the Wizards, averaging 18 points per game.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Tuesday, the NBA draft kicks off. We'll tell you who should be the #1 pick and who could be a big draft day steal. It's on SportsFun, like 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
He needs care and treatment.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Is this a great country or what?
Locking down the middle of the day, live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. They're online at guaranteehealth.com, guaranteehealth.com. We got plenty to discuss here in the second hour. 3 positions the Saints may still address before training camp. We'll get into that in 15 minutes. Right now, I want to preview the final college baseball game of 2026. It'll be North Carolina and Oklahoma for a championship at Charles Schwab Field tonight. And I've got some thoughts. Finally, Oklahoma has been cooled off. They were just a runaway freight train for 3 weeks, really, since they lost the opener in the Atlanta Regional. They've come back, and they've just been sensational. They stormed back and beat Georgia Tech, went to Lawrence, Kansas, and handled the Jayhawks, and then steamrolled through their bracket in 3 games. Then they won the first game of the title series. And finally, North Carolina punched back and got a win last night. They had to do it in a way that I don't think Scott Forbes would have drawn it up. You look at what North Carolina had to do yesterday. Your starter has to come out of the game, and they just went to Caden Glauber, who is their best bullpen arm. He is their best pitcher, and he got him the rest of the way. And he threw 65 pitches to do it, which generally speaking would mean he's unavailable today. Now, in a national championship situation, you never really know. And we see in this tournament all the time, pitchers get pushed to the limit. And maybe he is available for a couple of outs. Maybe he's available for an inning. But they don't have a rested and ready Caden Glauber. He's their stopper. He's unavailable in this game. That means that North Carolina's job is to get the game to Walker McDuffie one way or another. He will be their closer, assuming that Glauber is not available a day after throwing 65 pitches as a 17, 18-year-old true freshman who's supposed to still be in high school. So we'll see how that goes. But that, to me, kind of puts the pitching advantage closer to Oklahoma. Now, Oklahoma is going to go with Nick Wisłowski. He's a freshman. He pitched very well against Georgia. He pitched pretty damn well against the Citadel, but he's only got 2 starts on the season. But they've been pretty good starts, and he's going to get the ball and is capable of going out there and giving them 5 or 6 innings in this game. North Carolina doesn't have its best bullpen option. So to me, there's a little bit of a pitching matchup that favors Oklahoma. LJ Mercurius is probably the guy who's pitching the best, maybe Xander Mercurius, but those guys should be available in this game. I was looking back at yesterday's box score, and Xander threw 4 innings yesterday, 92 pitches. So he'll be down. LJ will be the guy they try to get it to in the back end, and he's probably their most talented pitcher. So that's the goal, is who can get it to their ace reliever with a lead in the middle innings. I was listening to the D1 baseball guys earlier today, and the thought is that potentially Jason DeCaro, North Carolina's ace, who went on Saturday, could go 2 or 3 outs today. DeCaro threw 83 pitches on Saturday. He's had 1 day of rest. I hate that. I don't like when college coaches do it. I have no idea if Scott Forbes will do it either, but he had a day of rest, and maybe that's a guy you can get out there. Don't know if he's a first-day sore guy or a second-day sore guy, but he's had a day of rest. Maybe he can give you an inning. Offensively, did Oklahoma run out of gas yesterday? They had swung the bat so well for so long, and then it kind of went away. And I've talked about this in various examples for the last 2 weeks, and I do it every year at this time. Like, I have seen teams just kind of go quiet for 2 days. I give you the example all the time of Oregon State in 2017. That was a just ridiculous baseball team, and they didn't hit for 2 days. Wake Forest didn't hit in Omaha in 2013. They just didn't hit. I've seen teams go up there and struggle to find offense. Georgia just did it. And sometimes that comes in 48-hour bursts, and that's enough to send you home. And maybe the case for Oklahoma. North Carolina swung the bat well yesterday. Owen Hull has been sensational. Gavin Gallagher has got more postseason RBI in the last 3 years than anybody in college baseball. And I'm not going to jump off the horse now that I've been riding. I'm going to take North Carolina to win this. I told you on Friday that I was picking them, and I'm not going to switch my pick. I did tell you on Friday that I did have to step back and go, okay, this Oklahoma team is playing great. They're playing great. I don't know if it's a great team. I struggle with that when you go 14-16 in the league, and then you pop up and just go nuts in June. But the power surge has been unbelievable, led by Dayton LaChance. And they're playing great, but they didn't play great yesterday. And you don't have Cordrager going. I like North Carolina a little bit better. I think they've been a better team all year. I wish they had Glover ready to go in this game. They don't. But I'm going to pick North Carolina to win, and I think it'll be close. I don't see an LSU-Florida Game 3 breaking out here. I think this is going to be a close Game 3, and I'm hopeful that it is close because these two bullpen guys that I think these two teams are going to go to could really put on a show, I think, if given a really tight ball game. I'm impressed by Oklahoma's turnout in Omaha. I am really disappointed by North Carolina's turnout in Omaha. I've got a decent perspective on that, having been up there now for 2 different championship series. I think Oklahoma's crowd is sizable. I would put it in the category with maybe LSU in 25, with Ole Miss, with Mississippi State. LSU 23 was unbelievable. I would not put it in that category. LSU in 23, it had just been a long time. It had been 6 years since LSU had been to Omaha. It was Skeens. It was Cruz. Everybody was going. They showed up early. They stayed the whole time. Like, it was a ridiculous LSU crowd in 2023. It was a good crowd in 2025, but it wasn't as big as 2023. And I think Oklahoma's got about that many people there. It's a 6-7 hour drive from Norman, and they have showed up. North Carolina just kind of has it, and that's a bit of a bummer because that's a proud alumni base. They certainly travel for basketball, and I just thought they would bring more people, but it just hasn't hadn't materialized that way. Should be a great environment. Should be a great game. Hopefully the weather cooperates, and I'm looking forward to watching it kind of stress-free. Usually I have to kind of stress about one team and not wanting them to win. Certainly if LSU's in there, but even if they're not, I'm trying to get somebody not to win. As I said at the end of the hour, I don't care if Oklahoma wins. I'm pulling for North Carolina, and certainly Oklahoma will make me look silly if they win, but that's not important. I look silly all the time. There's 10 hours to fill here, and I say stuff that looks ridiculous all the time. And I've doubted Oklahoma all the way, and I'm going to doubt them one more time on this Monday. But I do recognize that they are certainly good enough to win if they play the way that they played for the last 2 weeks. They play the way they did yesterday. North Carolina will hoist its first ever. And this is a North Carolina team that has had a program that's had some really, really good teams. Fox had some great teams, and Forbes has had some great teams, and they just haven't climbed the mountain. I mean, they've had some really good players at North Carolina over the years and just haven't gotten over the hump. That team they had in 2013 when I saw them play was really, really good, but they got beat by Carlos Rodon in the first game, and then they eliminated LSU and couldn't get out. UCLA ended up beating them. But it had some really good teams and have never gotten over the hump, and it goes back to the column I wrote last week. Like it's really tough to win the College World Series. LSU's unaware of that, and our perspective is warped, but it's a hard, hard thing to do. Ask North Carolina. Ask Arkansas. Ask A&M. Ask Florida State. It's really, really hard to go up there and win, and one of these two teams will get it done. North Carolina after a great season start to finish, and Oklahoma after a heck of a June, and I'm excited to watch it tonight from Charles Schwab Field in Omaha. So that's my pick. I'm taking the Tar Heels. We'll talk about it on tomorrow's show. We come back. Let's flip over to the Saints. 3 positions that maybe the Saints could add to before training camp starts up. Ross Jackson wrote it. We'll talk about it next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com. FabryChevrolet.com is that website. Just go to the website. So user-friendly, such a navigable site, depending on what you're looking for. If you're looking for a new vehicle, they've got them. They're all there. If you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle, they've got them. They're all there at FabryChevrolet.com. You can sort by price. Got a range that you're looking for, but not sure what you want? You can sort by price. You can sort by make and model. If you know exactly the type of car you're looking for, what do they have in stock? Well, you can check it out there. You can sort by mileage. There's a certain threshold you're not willing to go over for your pre-owned vehicle. They can do that for you at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. And when you go up there, Highway 61 in St. Francisville, you know you're going to get a wonderful buying experience. That's what they promise you at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. So go by the website, FabryChevrolet.com, and then go by and see them on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. It's Fabry Chevrolet GMC, online at FabryChevrolet.com.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you'll likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim, which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. Guarantee Health Solutions, guiding healthcare forward. GuaranteeHealth.com.
Brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions here on this Monday. Brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions every single Monday. They're guiding healthcare forward over at Guarantee Health Solutions. Rachel Fricke and her team are just first class. They do such an awesome job. If you are in the healthcare space and have not considered digital advertising, have not considered the functionality of your website, have not considered the patient journey through your clinic or your hospital or your office, that's where Guarantee Health Solutions comes in. They're in 12 states. They've got 24 plus partnerships. Last year, they helped move a partner's Net Promoter Score from 65 to 90 in 3 months. They're operational experts. They can do a full assessment of your patient journey. What does your brand look like online? How easy is access to care, meaning how many clicks to care? They do all that for you at Guarantee Health Solutions. So whether you are a hospital or an urgent care or dental practice or private practice, if you're in the healthcare space and have not considered the hospitality angle of your operation, Guarantee Health Solutions is here to help you do that. Check them out online at GuaranteeHealth.com. That's GuaranteeHealth.com. We had our internal meeting earlier today on at 10 o'clock, as we do every other Monday, and it was just like an empty room. Like there's no one's here. And I'm getting the itch to go on vacation here. Like I'm out next week, and it just I've been taken aback by how empty this building feels these days. Did you notice that?
Oh, I've been noticing. I've noticed since probably the end of May.
Yeah.
No, what was the holiday we just had? Memorial Day?
Memorial Day was a month ago.
Oh, okay. Well, damn. Oh, maybe I need to wake up then.
Summer's just like, yeah. It's just, and then they got the snowball truck out there today.
Hunt, please tell me why is that at 2 o'clock?
2 o'clock? I mean, are you a snowball guy?
Yeah, I'm a snowball guy. Come on, man.
I call it a snow cone because I'm from Shreveport, but I don't think I've had a snow cone since the Clinton administration. Like I don't know when my last snow cone was.
Well, look, they're free downstairs, so I'm about to say after the show, go get you a snowball.
What's your flavor of choice?
Okay, so usually I'm more of a red type of guy, so any type of cherry or type of strawberry. I'm not on the milk. I'm not a milk guy on my snowball.
Milk?
Yeah, no, they do condensed milk. Yeah.
What?
Yes. No, real talk. Hey, you turn your mics on. So no, I don't do that. Can I get some gummy bears in it sometimes? You know, more. I like to get down.
I didn't know they did toppings either.
No. Sometimes I might mix it.
I got the Myers Man a snow cone at the box earlier this year.
Okay.
And that ended up all over his jersey. But
rite of passage.
Yeah, for sure. I was fine. Just keep him occupied while I'm trying to watch baseball. We were playing in South Carolina. It was great. We were winning. It was rare occurrence this year. But it's not really. I love it when we had the crawfish bowl down there. I love it when they get ice cream brought. They had an ice cream truck every once in a while.
Yeah.
The snow cone's not going to get me down from the third or fourth floor. It's just not going to happen.
You got to go that way to go out anyway.
I mean, yeah, I would on the way out. Okay, but I'm going to make the trip down.
Okay, all right. I'm like, come on, you got to go that way anyway.
But I appreciate them for doing it. It's just not speaking to me.
Well, they better be there because I'm ready for y'all. 2 o'clock is a ridiculous time.
We got 20 minutes. We got 40 minutes until you can go down there. Let's talk a little Saints. Ross Jackson's got a piece up at LouisianaSports.net talking about what the Saints could do pre-training camp to bolster the roster. You understand that you got a roster is like a living organism in the NFL because it's constantly evolving, it's constantly changing. Circumstances with salary cap, circumstances with injury, just constantly make things a moving target. But there are 3 positions that Ross writes about that the Saints could potentially address later this summer, and he starts with cornerback. So you've got Kool-Aid and Quincy Riley, who appear to be your starters. You went and got Martin Emerson, which I thought was a pretty good addition. And then Isaac Adams has been there, and it's been a fairly solid player for you. You know, you get some special teams out of him, and he can play out there at the corner as well. But that's really it. Those are your 4 guys at corner. It feels like they need to add another one there. I don't know. I don't have a name for you. I don't have a way to get that done. We've seen Mickey Loomis make some trades preseason the last couple of seasons. Perhaps they look in that market. Perhaps they're free agents. Perhaps there's just a situation where someone gets let go from a roster at a loaded position somewhere, and the Saints can bring that person in. But a 5th corner, I think, would be helpful for New Orleans. That is probably, to me, cornerback, the weakest position on the roster. Like, when I look at the roster as a whole, I don't know that you have a number 1 corner. I don't think Kool-Aid McKinstry has demonstrated that he's that. And then you've got Quincy Riley entering year 2. Did some nice things, but he's certainly not a number 1 corner right now. So you don't have that headliner, that Pro Bowler. You're weak on depth. You're looking at maybe a 3rd corner that's Isaac Adams. He's probably 4th. Emerson's probably 3rd. But like that's a little bit of a weak position and something that the Saints probably need to address. So we'll see if there is a spot there, but that's probably the weakest spot on the roster at this point. Ross brings up a great point at offensive tackle where the Saints may make a move. You feel good about your foundational pieces in Taliesin Fuaga and Kelvin Banks. You feel good about those guys when they're healthy. I thought Banks had a nice season. I think Fuaga transitioned over to the right side pretty well when he was healthy, obviously dealt with some injuries. But those 2 guys look to be pretty good to me. What's behind them? Because you know, you're not playing 17 football games with 5 offensive linemen. It's just not going to happen. When we talk about LSU in August, you got to have depth up front. When we talk about the Saints in August, you got to have depth up front. You can't get through a football season with 5 offensive linemen. So what do they have at tackle behind Fuaga and Banks? Well, Asim Richards was brought in via trade last year, so they've got him. And they've got some undrafted rookies. Alex Heron is with them. Alex Wolfschlager is with them. But that's a little bit light. And there's, generally speaking, veteran depth that you can find on the offensive line. The Saints have seemingly found offensive linemen off the scrap heap the last few years, as many injuries as they've had. I would like to see a veteran tackle brought in at some point. That point doesn't stand if Heron and or Wolfschlager looks the part. If you've got an undrafted kid that you found that may be a gem, and I'm not asking for him to start at left tackle. I'm asking him to be a depth piece. If you have found that in an undrafted free agent, great. I can't assess that. I haven't been to practice, and they're not going to do press conferences where they talk a lot about the 5th and 6th offensive linemen behind the 2 tackles. So that's a spot, yes, at tackle. You can never have too many offensive linemen in an NFL camp, so that may be a spot that they look at as well. I don't know that I agree with Ross's 3rd one. I don't know that I agree with it. I understand what he's saying. I don't know that I agree with it. Running back. You look at the Saints at running back. Yeah, you don't know exactly what's going on with Alvin Kamara. He's playing a little bit of game of chicken, we think. We think he's planning on being back. We also think the Saints may try to negotiate a pay cut, and we don't know how he'll react to that. So that's uncertain. You've also got injuries to Devin Neal and Kendre Miller. I get it. But you've got Travis Etienne. You do have a healthy Alvin Kamara right now. You've also got what ended up being a reasonably solid Ultric estimate at the end of the season. And I feel like with Neal and Miller not being done for the year, you do have some depth there at running back. Now, look, if they know something I don't about Devin Neal's injury, and you just can't count on Kendre Miller ever, and Alvin Kamara's not going to be there, well, that's a different story. Yes, obviously, you're going to have to go and do something at running back. The good news is that at running back, in my opinion, you can find one of those a dime a dozen. Like, you can find a 6-foot, 221-pound, fast back that can add depth behind a 1,000-yard rusher in Travis Etienne. My gut tells me that Achane, Kamara, and Estime are going to be ready to go to start camp, and that Kendre Miller will find his way to practice at some point or another. Neal with a knee injury, we'll see. But I feel okay about running back. Maybe it's because it's tougher to find an offensive lineman than a running back, but I feel okay about where they are at running back. I think the Achane signing was a good one, and I think that there's a reasonable chance that Kamara will be reasonable and take a little bit of a pay cut. If things start to spiral, then I can get on Ross's team with, you probably need to go find somebody. And they will. They'll bring in additional backs. You break camp with a lot of dudes, and they'll go find somebody. But those 3 spots, I think just adding depth is pretty important because offensive linemen are going to get hurt. Backs are going to get hurt. And you're just light on numbers at corner. We talked to Luke Johnson about that last week, that they just don't have the numbers at corner. So they're going to have to do that as well. You can find corners pretty readily in that spot too. So 3 spots that the Saints may look to make a move before training camp starts or early in the training camp portion of the summer. Cornerback, offensive tackle, and running back. You can read more of Ross's coverage over there at louisianasports.net. All of it is right there for free. Launched our new site a couple of weeks ago, so if you haven't been in a couple of weeks, go check it out. It's we're very proud of it. It's been a long time coming to get to this iteration of the site, but it's been great to look at, and appreciate y'all for making it a part of your day when you do. Chugging along here on a Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. They're online at guaranteehealth.com. Step aside. We got about 30 minutes to go. Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. Bathroom can be a dangerous place, especially as folks age. So if there's someone in your life that's aging and you might want to see if you can mitigate some of that risk, talk to David at One Bath and Closets. They do this kind of stuff all the time. They can put in non-slip floors. They can put guardrails in potentially hazardous areas. They can do a walk-in tub for safety and convenience. They can do a shower with a bench in it as well. These may not be things you think about all the time, but they're things that David Ball and his team do all the time. So if you've got a loved one who's getting a little bit older that may want to stay home, but you might want to mitigate against risk in the bathroom, One Bath and Closets can do it for you. Go to the website, onebathandclosets.com, and check out that free consultation. It doesn't cost you anything to sit down with David and see what he has to say. It's One Bath and Closets. They're online at onebathandclosets.com.
Bayou Ford is taking $12,000 off MSRP on the new 2026 Ford F-150 trucks, plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer, we know you deserve value when you purchase equipment. Right now, take advantage of the powerful 3025E tractor for just $297 a month. With 0% financing for 72 months. Tractor packages with a trailer also available. Whether you're tackling land, property, or projects, get your job done. Don't wait. This offer ends June 30th, 2026. Some restrictions apply. Visit sunequip.com or stop by a Sunshine location today.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
The experts at Hood Dental Care want you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays. A $376 value. With over 3,000 5-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care. Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And we always have other great giveaways for new patients. Check out hooddentalcare.com and schedule your appointment today.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. Guarantee Health Solutions, guiding healthcare forward. GuaranteeHealth.com.
Through a series on LouisianaSports.net where I take LSU's 12 opponents for this coming football season, and I just give you 3 points on them. It's meant to be surface level. It's not meant to be a deep dive in the middle of June on college football rosters. Just kind of sticking your toe in the water of football. We are gaining on SEC Media Days. We've got, I think, 4 weeks before we get there. Let me check the math on that. It's pretty easy to look up. We got this week, then we got next week when I'm out on vacation, and then 2 more before Media Days. So we have 4 weeks before we go to SEC Media Days in Tampa, and that's when things really pick up in earnest. So this is obviously the slowest part of the year. Once we get to Media Days, we've got that week in Tampa, and then there's 1 week, and then we come back, and the Saints are already practicing, and LSU hits the practice field a week after that, and then you're off and running until June of the next year. But this is the quietest time, so you look for angles to talk about and to write about, and I've just kind of looked through LSU's opponents, and I wrote about Auburn today, I wrote about Mississippi State yesterday, and I'll talk about both of those because they're both back on the schedule after a little bit of a hiatus there. LSU and Mississippi State and Auburn played every year when they were SEC Western Division rivals, and then when you added Texas and Oklahoma, you jumbled things up, and all of a sudden those two foes came off LSU's schedule, but now they are back on. I was looking at Auburn, and you realize that Auburn kind of compares itself to Alabama and Georgia, right? Those are the 2 chief rivals of Auburn football. As great as the LSU-Auburn rivalry has been, they've got more hatred in their heart for Alabama and Georgia than they do for LSU, I'm assuming. And for a while there, that was a really bad place to be because Nick Saban had the greatest run in college football history going in Tuscaloosa, and Kirby Smart looked like he was well on his way to doing the same damn thing in Athens. And do you realize that since that miracle couple of weeks with the prayer at Jordan-Hare on the tipped Hail Mary pass and then the kick 6, after that, which was the same season, Auburn is 3-22 against Alabama and Georgia. 3-22 since that. They are never beating those teams. And that is got to be really, really frustrating. And they thought they had it figured out when they hired Hugh Freeze. And Hugh Freeze's teams were bad. They couldn't score. They were terrible. And so here comes Alex Golesh, who comes in. He's been in football coaching for 20 years, got that South Florida position, and he went 23-15 at South Florida. What really got him this job and put him on the map is that they hammered Boise State in the opener last year at South Florida, 34-7. And then they went to Gainesville and beat Billy Napier and Florida 18-16. Like, it wasn't a great season for South Florida after that. They lost to Memphis, they lost to Navy, they lost to Old Dominion, but Golesh got the job. And his job now is to figure out how to score some points with Auburn. Because they averaged 18.5 points per game against SEC teams last year. Only Florida and South Carolina were worse than that. In fact, when you look at conference games, only 13 of 133 teams in the country were worse against their conference teams scoring points than Auburn. They threw for 197 yards per game. That's worse than everybody in the SEC except Missouri. And so they've got to transform that offense. And they hand the keys to Byron Brown. He set 15 school records at South Florida, played 3 seasons under Golesh there, 32 starts. In 2023, which was his first year as a starter, he was one of 2 quarterbacks to throw for 3,000 and run for 800. The other one played down the street, Jaden Daniels at LSU, won the Heisman Trophy. He did it again in 2025. So you got a quarterback that's got a lot of skins on the wall, that's played a lot of football, and he's one of 11 South Florida Bulls that transferred to Auburn on the offensive side. They have 11 transfers from South Florida on offense. That doesn't mean 11 starters. That just means 11 total have joined Auburn. So they've got to try to get things off to a good start against Baylor and Atlanta and try to move things forward. They need some continuity in Auburn. You fired Freeze quickly. You fired Harsin the most quickly. Like, Malzahn brought some stability. It wasn't always great, and you always felt like they were going to fire him every November, but it did bring some stability, and he won a lot of games. And now Auburn's just churning through coaches, and it doesn't feel super stable. We'll see if Alex Golesh can do that. This is a hire that I think is interesting because it wasn't just an awesome run at South Florida, but a lot of people in college football like Golesh, so maybe it goes really well for him. So that's a look at the Auburn Tigers. Let's take a brief look at Mississippi State as well. Speaking of looking for stability, obviously they had a terrible set of circumstances when Mike Leach passed away. They tried to bring in Zach Arnett as the defensive coordinator, elevate him to head coach. That did not work out at all. So now they go to Jeff Levy, and he's 1-15 in league play. 1-15 in league play. So you feel like, despite the fact that they want stability in Starkville, if you have another 1-8 type year, can you justify keeping him? I think they've got to win 2 or 3 SEC games to feel like they're moving in the right direction. And if they do that, a lot of it is probably going to be because of Kamario Taylor. Kamario Taylor is going to be the quarterback for Mississippi State this year. He's the highest-rated quarterback recruit in the history of Mississippi State. He is a great athlete. He's dynamic in space. He had a 38-yard touchdown run against Ole Miss last year in the Egg Bowl that was explosive. And he did some good things last year. He ran for 173 yards and 2 touchdowns in that game against Ole Miss. He threw 5 touchdowns, only 1 interception. Like, he's a dynamic dude. He's going to be in charge of putting up some points. On the other side, Zach Arnett is back coaching the defense. He's the defensive coordinator at Mississippi State now. Spent some time actually at Ole Miss, coincidentally, after he was fired by Mississippi State. Their defense at State's been terrible. They have been outside the top 100 in total defense, scoring defense, and rushing defense both years of Jeff Leppy's tenure. They've been terrible defensively. Awful. And so they've got to find a way to be better than that. Zach Arnett did a pretty good job with Mike Leach. And Mississippi State often has really good defensive players. The Chris Joneses of the world, the Jeffrey Simmons of the world. You know the names by now. London, Fletcher Cox. They've had great defensive players. They've got to be better. They allowed 40-plus points 9 times in the last 2 years. 40-plus 9 times in the last 2 years. That's got to change. So they got to score more points. They've got to stop allowing more points. And the one thing that I wrote about with Mississippi State, this is nitpicking. I promise I'm aware of it. It's nitpicking, I know. But Mississippi State does have a nice schedule advantage over LSU in that game. State will be coming off of its bye week when they play LSU in Baton Rouge. LSU will have played a night game at Kentucky the week prior and will not have had a bye. So that game's going to start at 7 o'clock Baton Rouge time. LSU will play until 11. They won't start flying out of there until 12:30 a.m. They won't land in Baton Rouge until 4 o'clock in the morning. That's how you're coming back into Mississippi State week as State has a bye. So that's a small thing. It's a small thing, but State will be a little bit ahead of where LSU is preparation-wise because LSU has a game, and it's a night game, and it's an away game. Mississippi State will have a bye week. So it's going to be an early kickoff in Tiger Stadium. It's going to be an early kickoff against Auburn on the Plains. Both these games I'm talking about, Auburn and Mississippi State, are morning kickoffs. Auburn game has already been slated for 11 a.m. Mississippi State is either 11 a.m. or noon in Tiger Stadium. That'll be the one day game of the home games this year. I think the rest of them will probably be at night. But Mississippi State gets a nice schedule advantage over LSU with the bye, with the early kickoff, all that stuff that goes into it. So that's a look at Auburn and Mississippi State. I talked about this last week when the schedule came out and the game slots came out. If LSU is going to achieve this year, if you're going to be a team that makes the playoffs, if you're going to be a team that competes in the SEC, if you're going to be a team that considers this season a success in Baton Rouge, year one, Lane Kiffin, you absolutely have to beat Mississippi State and Auburn. And Auburn's on the road, but you have to. If you lose one of those games, the path to the playoff is just untenable. Because it involves Clemson, it involves A&M, it involves at Ole Miss, it involves at Tennessee, it involves Texas, it involves Alabama. There are too many landmines on this schedule for LSU to stub their toe against Auburn or Mississippi State. Auburn's in transition. Mississippi State is bad. I don't have another word for it. If you're going to achieve this year, these two are just about non-negotiables, as I see it. So they're important, if not the biggest, most high-profile games on LSU's schedule, hence the early kickoff time. So got to win those two against longtime foes. LSU's played Mississippi State more often than any school in program history, so we'll get that back in action coming up in October this year with Mississippi State. So that's a look at Mississippi State and Auburn. Remind you about Boudreaux's Electrical Services. They're online at boudreauxelectrical.com. That's boudreauxelectrical.com. Look, it is storm season. We had our first name storm that came through. Before the next one does, call Boudreaux's Electrical. Call Neil and Melissa. Say, hey, I'd like to look at a Generac home standby generator. They've been doing it for 40 years. They know the needs of the South Louisiana folks that they help. You call and they come out. They assess your property. They give you a quote. You want to move forward with it? A local team will come out and install that generator. And it'll be monitored 24 hours a day, 7 days a week locally. So that if there's a mechanical issue, even if you don't know about it, Boudreaux's Electrical will. They'll come out. They'll do the maintenance so that when your power goes out, your generator power's on. If you work from home, you can't afford to have your power go out for an afternoon storm. If you evacuate from a hurricane, you don't want to come back to a hot, dark house. If you ride a hurricane out, you don't want to lose power. You won't with that Generac home standby generator from the folks at Boudreaux's Electrical. Give them a call at 985-397-1562. That's 985-397-1562. Or the Gonzales location at 225-300-9389. That's Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Chugging along here on a Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Appreciate you all for starting your week with us. As I mentioned a couple times, my last week until vacation. So there's a touch of senioritis that's kind of kicking in. That'll be in full effect around Thursday. A little too early for that on a Monday. But I'm looking forward for a week away coming up. We'll get through this week one way or another, and tonight, obviously, we're excited to watch the College World Series and hopeful there's a little bit more baseball portal action to come. I'll touch briefly on that when we come back, and we'll wrap things up with Take It or Leave It next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com, FabryChevrolet.com. Got some amazing deals on trucks all month long. You've still got 1 week to get on by and see what you can do with these. You've got some incredible deals on Chevy Silverados. You've got incredible deals on GMC Sierras. If you're looking for a Silverado 1500, you can get incredibly 0% financing. 0% financing. If you're looking for that GMC Sierra 1500, 2.7 for 72 months. Incredible deals on trucks. If you're looking for one, get on by and see them. Also, if you're looking for Chevy Trax, you can find one for $30,000. Great deals, great service, great inventory at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. They're online. The entire inventory is right there at FabryChevrolet.com. Go by and see them. Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Fabry Chevrolet GMC.
Box combo for George. I see you, Luis. Food's on the way.
Please don't. Hey, you know you can use your hands, right?
Got those box combos for you. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
If your office is experiencing performance performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files? Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
I've been in banking for over 35 years. I usually start about 7:30 in the morning, and I usually leave somewhere around 5, or if customers need me to meet them at their house or their business places, I don't mind going after hours. I have done churches, subdivisions, retail centers, hospitals, and nursing homes. And that's why we chose to live in this community, because of the values First American Bank has, that I can serve my community and my customers.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. Guarantee Health Solutions, guiding healthcare forward. GuaranteeHealth.com.
So we're continuing to monitor college baseball's transfer portal. LSU made some real splashes early on, certainly loaded up on the position player front, and still looking for some pitching help. And the name that has been circulating the most prevalently, is that a word? Prevalently? I don't think that's a word. It has been the most prevalent.
We're gonna let it roll.
Prevalently. That's just not a word. Can't be doing that. Is Thomas Allen from Louisiana Tech. And he has gotten significant Southeastern Conference buzz. I did check in. He visited Arkansas. He is scheduled to visit Ole Miss this week, maybe right now, maybe later on this week. LSU will get a visit. I was told that potentially they might want to get him last, which would be probably an advantageous spot. Texas is involved as well. I expect Mississippi State to get in the mix. Mississippi State actually saw him in a scrimmage. Louisiana Tech went over and played Mississippi State in a scrimmage, just like LSU goes over to Biloxi and plays against Samford and has played McNeese and Louisiana Lafayette and Southeastern over the years. And so they got to look at him in fall of last year. He's got a fastball upwards of 96 miles an hour. I really like the shape of the breaking ball as well. He really looks like a bullpen piece. I was talking about this last week. There's a potential that Arkansas is pitching him as a starter, and I don't know if that's the case at LSU. Now, when I say that out loud, I realize what I'm saying. Like, LSU should not have starting roles baked in for anybody based on how this past year went. I want the best man to win. I want the competition. I want guys to have to fight for those roles because LSU just simply was not good enough. So I want Evans competing. I want Schmidt competing. I want Cooper Moore competing. I want Ricken competing. I want Marcos Paz competing. I want Landon Hood competing. I want whatever freshman they can get through this class competing. And that would include Thomas Allen as well. But again, I just listed a lot of guys, and there are only 3 starting spots. And it sounds like Arkansas, who does lose their entire rotation, Dietz being key among them, that could be a big selling point. Obviously, finances are going to come into play, and hopefully you get the Louisiana kid to stay home. He's from Benton, just outside of Bossier, up there in the 318, and so that's reasonably close to Oxford, reasonably close to Fayetteville, reasonably close to Baton Rouge. It's not like he's from Dutchtown or something, but he's getting significant buzz. I would imagine we may get some clarity on that in the next 7 days, but he's taking his visits. He's gonna line him up in that way, and sounds like he's headed to Oxford at some point this week. So I would love it if LSU could grab him. That's probably the most high-profile guy LSU's in the mix for right now from a pitching perspective. And I know he's right-handed. I know people want left-handed pitching, but good pitching is more important than left-handed pitching. And Allen looks like a pretty good pitcher, and he's got 2 years of eligibility left. So that would be a big one if LSU could make it happen. But they'll have a lot of competition with the Hogs, the Rebs, Texas, Bulldogs as well. So we'll see how it all shakes out. That's a look at Thomas Allen. All right, we got a few minutes left to go. Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, Hunt, history was going on during the show. So Lionel Messi has become the all-time leading goal scorer in men's World Cup history. Well, men's and women's World Cup history after scoring twice in Argentina's group match against Austria. Just 2 days before his 39th birthday, Messi eclipsed Miroslav Klose, record of 16 goals, which has stood since 2014. So with LeBron James and Tom Brady breaking records at older ages, and now Messi breaking a record at an older age, is this the generation of ageless wonders? Take it or leave it.
I mean, take it. They're playing better than anyone ever has towards their 40s, for no doubt. There's no question about that. It just wasn't something you could do a long time ago, but these guys have unlimited resources financially and the drive to do all this.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to watch for sure. I mean, golf's had guys extend their careers a very long time. Sometimes the body breaks down, and it certainly did for Tiger.
Yeah.
But guys, I mean, Phil Mickelson won the PGA at 50, so it's
goodness
at Kiowa. So it's amazing to see what some of these guys can do up in age. Gives me confidence.
Yeah.
There's going to come a time fairly soon where I'm older than everybody in professional sports outside of golf, and
that's going to suck.
I'm not there yet, but it's getting there. It's getting there.
Hunt, I feel you, because once the players started being younger than me, and once NFL teams started looking at guys born in 2000, like, this guy's a little too old to. Yeah, no, I don't feel too good no more. I do not feel good at all.
I still got LeBron out there. He's older than me. Who's the oldest quarterback in the league?
Aaron Rodgers?
Matt Stafford is about
38.
my age.
Yeah, about 38, 36. Yeah.
That game when he came to Baton Rouge was my junior year, and that was his junior year. So I am Matt Stafford's age.
You was there for A.J. Green and all.
I was there. A.J. Green, I can still see it. So one of my roommate's best buddies went to Georgia.
Okay.
And he was sitting with us in the student section.
Oh, Lord.
And A.J. Green caught a post route over the middle, and I can still hear Michael Thompson slam his foot on the ground and go, A.J. And we were all ticked. No Sean Moreno's running 50-yard touchdowns, running away from Derry Beckwith. That was not good. The Dogs scored 50 that day. That's the day I wrote the letter. I wrote the editor of the Reveille a nasty email, not profane, but like a very derogatory email, because they put the headline on the Reveille of the LSU school paper.
This is A&M, right?
No, it was Georgia.
Oh, I'm like the Reveille.
No, Reveille is A&M's mascot. LSU school paper is called the Reveille.
Oh, okay.
And the headline of the Reveille after Georgia beat LSU was the word UGA, UGA for Georgia, UGA-Lee, L-E-E, and UGA Lee lost because Jarrett Lee was the quarterback, and he threw 3 interceptions and 1 got returned for a touchdown on the first drive of the game. And I just thought that was ridiculous for a school paper
to go to quarterback.
Call out the quarterback like that when the defense allowed 45 points. Like, he has to go to class, and they open the Reveille, and it's like UGA Lee lost. Give me a break with that. And I got some response about how we're not fans, we're journalists. It was like, you're a student at LSU. Don't put that on the headline. It's ridiculous.
Okay. All right. So Duke appeared to take. Well, we're gonna keep talking about shots. So Duke appeared to take a subtle shot at Michigan with Wolverines head coach Dusty May going on to the NBA. So shortly after that, Duke shared a photo of Coach John Shire wearing a Blue Devils shirt as a kid. So Mark Stein reported last week that the reason why Dallas was having this hold up trying to find a head coach is because they were trying to get John Shire to come from Duke. Ultimately, Dusty May ended up going. So Is Duke throwing shots at Michigan, posting this picture of John Shire as a kid? Take it or leave it.
Yeah, I'll take it. I mean, I think just a little playful banter there.
Michigan
loses their coach. John Shire sticks around at Duke. I mean, look, I'm on record saying the guy next to the guy is usually not the guy. But John Shire's done a pretty good job keeping things afloat at Duke. They continue to recruit at a ridiculously high level. So it helps when, Boozer has two kids that can really play and their legacies.
Yeah, you can also get any kid in America. You just go into the gym, just get any 5-star.
So it's but I mean, look, that would obviously have been tough for Duke if they'd have lost him. So they'll take that.
All right, so the Patriots and Eagles will host a joint practice on August 19th through the 20th, giving A.J. Brown an immediate opportunity to play his former team. So will tensions be high out there? Take it or leave it.
Take it. I'll tell you, I like that. When they get those joint practices in the NFL, they fight every time. It gets chippy every time. You can't put guys out there for that long and in that hot, and they're not playing games. It's just miserable, and they're out there going to be fighting. So yeah, there'll be fights for everything. Are the Saints? They're practicing with the Rams, aren't they?
Yeah, there's a couple teams the Saints are practicing with.
That's good. I like practicing against the Rams. The Rams are awesome, and I think that's
gives you a litmus test too. Like, all right, this is where we need to get to.
And by the way, they did that last year, and the media was allowed to go and not take video.
Yeah, we got.
And they all came back and they're like, it wasn't very good, guys. They couldn't cross the line of scrimmage.
Well, goes to show you that it really was not that good going out to start, and the Rams were pretty damn good.
They sent Tyler Shuck out there for his first start against the Rams. That was a bad idea.
It worked out, though. It worked out in our favor towards the end,
Eventually, but that was a bad idea.
Baptism by fire.
Should have sent Rattler out there.
That's it for Take It or Leave It.
All right, that's it for Take It or Leave It. We're brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. They're online at GuaranteeHealth.com, GuaranteeHealth.com. Appreciate them for bringing our Monday shows each and every week. Open things up today. Talking about LSU football recruiting, you can find that at Hunt on LSU. Tigers land Gary Burney Jr. from Parkway up in Bossier. Segment 2 was golf, which we usually don't do, but Sam Burns was in the mix yesterday, and I gave some thoughts on that, as well as the crowd's treatment of Wyndham Clark, which I just thought was ridiculous. Went in LSU basketball at 1:30. Big day in LSU baseball history. 1 year ago, Tigers won their 8th national championship. 3 years ago, LSU clinched a spot in the title series with a Tommy White walk-off. Both happened on June 22nd. College World Series final preview. I've got North Carolina. Did that top of hour number 2. A little bit of Saints talk. You can find that at Hunt on Saints as well. Go back and catch it all on demand. Matt's going to drive you home on AFR next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
But not before I tell you about Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com. Awesome spot to go work on your golf game. It's sometimes tough to find a good driving range here in Baton Rouge. Maybe it's wet outside. Maybe there's not a lot of grass out there. Maybe struggling to find good golf balls to hit. The wind's blowing. It's hot. Just not a great place to go work on your game. Do it at Swing Easy. You can go into an individual bay. Don't have to worry about any of the elements. You can see your trajectory. You can see your ball speed. You can see your carry distance. You can see your club head speed. You can see how much spin you're putting on the golf ball. The technology is phenomenal. One of the coolest things you can do is see that slow-mo video of your club face at impact, so you can see if you're catching the ball on the toe of the club, see if you're catching on the heel. Doesn't matter if you're a scratch golfer or a beginner. It's still a great place to work on your game and use all of that information at Swing Easy. They're on Segan at Perkins. They're online as well. Swing Easy Golf Club at SwingEasyGCBR.com.
Investing in a new roof doesn't have to be overwhelming. At Pelican Roofing, we offer 0 interest for 21 months because everyone deserves a safe, secure home. Trusted, local, affordable. Pelican Roofing, making quality roofing affordable for South Louisiana families.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been